Good morning. Good morning. It's Ayya Vimala, and it is Tuesday, January the 26th. Today, I don't know if I can get this. Let's see. Let me try to see. Can you see the snow? Yeah. Maybe you can. So we had probably the most, well, it certainly is the most snow we've had this winter overnight. And this morning, my friend Allison Lewis and a great noble friend in Las Vegas sent me a picture of her front yard. It actually looked like there was just a little like white sand scattered a few places. And, we always laugh about that because places like Houston and Las Vegas, when they get snow in the city, it's hardly anything. And Allison had told us in one group that when they get those rare occasions of snow, people are kind of freaked out about it because they never drive in snow, that things can shut down. But she told me this morning that the schools are all online, so the kids are all at home. So I had other people on Facebook sending pictures from Las Vegas with their kids playing in what I'm going to believe was snow. And there's a reason I'm telling you this story, because we can kind of joke when you're in the Midwest. You can kind of tease other people in places that don't get snow how they don't know snow. But in Las Vegas, then I looked at a Facebook clip from this morning from Vern Quiver, and I'm sorry, Vern, I probably mispronounced your last name, but he showed the snow around where he lives, which is a little bit more than Allison's yard, but then he showed pictures of the mountains around Las Vegas, and of course they got a lot of snow, and it was just magnificent and beautiful, and we see nothing like that here in the flat Midwest. So it's all about our perspective, right, and our perceptions of things. So if our viewpoint is just only what's right in front of us, it didn't look like much snow, and it wasn't much to even get excited about. But when you see the bigger picture, when you get the broader moving back angle, it was magnificent up in the mountains. And of course, Las Vegas is just circled with those mountains. So it was gorgeous. So the point of view is pretty important. So thank you, Vern, for sending those pictures out too. But I grew up in Houston, so I remember the few times that there was any snow, how excited everyone got and how life stopped, because there was snow outside. Usually for about, maybe a few hours, and then it was gone. So it's a good thing to think about. It's pretty good dharma just to see the close-up and the bigger picture. We were talking about that in our book group with Pema Chodron's Welcoming the Unwelcome, that, we rarely see the final, maybe there is no final, but we rarely see the outcome of our actions, even of our metta practice, or being just living the precepts, developing metta and compassion. We rarely see the ultimate expression of those or outcome. Yet we know that everything that can change the universe has to start within us. So that we had a good discussion about that, how we just can't know if we're kind to someone or do something that might encourage someone else or help someone, or from a big gesture to the tiniest gestures, just smiling at someone or being aware of someone. We never know what the end result is. We may never even realize we're doing it at the time. But I think we have to remember that when we feel despair, or when we feel hopeless about any impact we can have, or if it's not worth doing anything to help others because they'll disappoint you, or they're not worth it, or they don't think like I do, or their opinions are wrong, their viewpoints wrong, their religion's wrong. Anytime we feel that overwhelming feeling like what's it all about, we have to, if you're a student of the Buddhist teachings, you always have to come back and remember, and I think we really have to learn to believe too, but we only know this because of the insight that we will develop, that everything we do can make a difference. It's making a difference within us, and we don't know. We don't know what the broader view is. We don't know, we aren't able to see out onto those mountains or out into the future, or whatever we're doing is meaningful in a meaningless world, right? So our kindnesses to others and our metta that we send to others, and that's even to our difficult people, even to our enemies, it's all about how it's changing us within and purifying our minds. So that's changing the universe. So I just wanted to share that. It was a good discussion, and I thought Vern's pictures of the mountains just draped in the gorgeous snow, and they're not that far away in Las Vegas. You don't have to drive very far to get up and take a hike up where there's lots of snow right now, I'm sure. And so that kind of changes my attitude about that little bit of snow no snow on the sidewalks and just a little tiny sprinkle in the yards. That's just one angle, right? That's just one spot. So I'm going to try and appreciate all of our snow because its messages up closer. So on Sunday, I was reading a little bit from this book, Awareness. I know it's backwards, so it doesn't do much good for me to hold it up, does it? Awareness alone is not enough. And it's a Q&A book where they're talking to the teacher, Ashin Tajania. And he is Burmese. And I thought I was saying Thai, and when I listened to my talk, the very first reference I made to him, I called him Tibetan, and I've always known he wasn't Tibetan, but I couldn't remember if he was Thai or Burmese, and he is a Burmese monk, and he has 4 books, and I encourage you to go to his website and check out the books, and maybe you can find one in your own bookcase. But I find him very, very easy to understand and read. At the end of this book, he has food for thought, and he actually has, as food for thought, he has how many? Almost 100. I bet it's 100. He has 108 things that are food for thought. So I'm not going to read all of them, but they're little pithy statements. These are the following points are a mixture of short reflections, ideas, and suggestions from Ashin Tajania. Since they are taken out of context, they might not always be very meaningful to yogis who are not very familiar with his teachings, or to those who are relatively new to meditation and to Dhamma study. We therefore suggest that you take inspiration from the ones that immediately make sense to you, and that you skip the ones that do not speak to you. Mulling over points you cannot connect with is likely to confuse or frustrate you. That in itself is very good advice. if you hit something in Buddhist teachings, or you hit someone's explanation of something, or a topic that you don't understand, don't let it frustrate you or confuse you. There's always, oh, okay, Lynn is saying, Lynn, thank you, that the book appears to be offered free on his website. I was wondering about that, and she's put up, yeah, I think she may have put up some information about it. If you're confused by something and you don't have access to a good teacher or a good commentary, or someone whose opinions, whose wisdom about it you can trust, sometimes it's better to just put it aside for a while and look at something else, because it's very easy to go down a rabbit hole, just the same way we do whenever we get online and find, oh, we get sidetracked. I get sidetracked very easily if I'm looking for one thing, and I can go down a rabbit hole, even on concepts, or doing a sutta study, and get totally sidetracked. So we can do that if it's something we are trying to learn more about or understand more, and you can get into all different kinds of what seems like a conflicting viewpoint on something, and it might just be the language a person uses, or the tradition they're coming from, or how much experience they have. So don't worry if it doesn't make sense. But I'm just going to read a few of these. I'm not going to skip. I'm just going to read the first 8. Number 1, if there is even a little expectation, the mind gets confused. Watch your attitude. Don't expect results. Number 2, when you use wisdom, effort is already present. 3, being mindful is being aware of what is right here already. 4, when the mind is idle, it will think. It's very short and pithy, but isn't it the truth? 5, whenever you are upset, look within. There is nothing and nobody out there you can blame for your state of mind. Number 6, having assumptions is delusion at work. 7, it is important to learn to see clearly the difference between the object and the mind. Which is the object? Which is the mind? Number 8, whenever people get depressed, it is a sure sign that they wanted something and that they did not get it. That's 8. I said I'd only read 8, so I'm stopping there, marking my place along with the other 4 bookmarks I have. He is, well, I hope you go to his website, and it is Tejaniya, I'm sorry. Tejaniya is a pronunciation. Tejaniya. And I think if you just Google that, you'll get his you'll get information on him. So it's just so good. I want to just keep it. Anywhere I stop, I want to read something from it. So on a day like today, if our snow is still really coming down here, I think they've plowed several times already, and you can see the sidewalks a tiny bit, but the driveway is completely covered. That's kind of a nice day. I have a friend though. I have a story about bread pudding, and maybe 4 years ago, I really was sick, and it kept being misdiagnosed, and ended up I had pneumonia. And so when I finally was diagnosed with pneumonia, then I just, I quit doing everything. I kept thinking it was something else, and I was taking antibiotics, and the doctors would say, okay, it should be clearing up, and it would just get worse and worse. So I kept doing some things, not realizing how sick I was. So when it was finally diagnosed and I was just told to go home and stay in bed, about all I could do was sleep. And my good friend Marty wanted to know, and I wasn't eating very much at all, but the sleeping was good. And my good friend Marty wanted to know, and this was way before COVID, wanted to know what she could do, if there was something that I could eat that would make me interested in eating something. And the only thing that came into my mind was bread pudding. And I'm from the South, of course, so I think that's part of the reason. But it just sounded like something soft, and it would go down easily. And I've rarely had it since I've moved, unless I made it myself when I was when my kids were younger. I don't think I'd made it too often, but it just felt like something that would be easy to eat, and it's all I could think of. And she went on a great search to find bread pudding, and it wasn't easy then, and it's not easy today to find it. And I don't know if Marty had ever even tasted it. And she found it, and she found the most magnificent, incredible dessert, and it was at Dave's Barbecue. And there used to be one not too far from here on a big shopping street, Randall Road. And it's a restaurant, and it's a barbecue restaurant, so I guess they have huge amounts of food, and they have they're really large desserts. So she found their bread pudding dessert and got some to go. And it was actually about 3 desserts in one. It had different kinds of toppings and different, it was unbelievable. And so she brought that to me, and it really was the only thing I had any interest in eating over about a 2-day period. And so it was just wonderful, because there wasn't anything that had any taste for me. And so we always joke about bread pudding. And then that restaurant, Dave's restaurant, his place shut down. I think there's still some in the country, but the one here shut down. So there was no more of that incredible, magnificent, unbelievable bread pudding anymore. So I have a friend who's recovering now from COVID who lives in my building, and she's lost a lot of weight, and she's she's on oxygen now, but she's home from the hospital. And I know she has a sweet tooth, and she has no appetite, so she's really needing to gain weight back and find things that she likes. And her son's bringing her all good, healthy food. And so she said to me she needed something sweet. So I didn't have, I think I gave her 85% chocolate bars, which I'm sure was just barely. I didn't have anything sweeter. So I've been looking for sweet things for her to entice her to just get some more calories and have a little bit of energy, even if she's not eating healthy things. And so in my search, I told her the story about Marty and the bread pudding. And she said, bread pudding. I said, that would work. That would do it. And she's from the Northeast, so I was surprised she knew about bread pudding. But I've been on a search for bread pudding for her, and today was going to be the day I went out and found it. And I had an idea of maybe 2 places where they might have it. And I'm not going to get out in the snow. So the bread pudding journey, the search for the perfect bread pudding, has to wait until tomorrow. So maybe today I'll be calling some places, because I know if you're really sick and you have no appetite, you need to be eating things. And so it turns out that bread pudding was not just my perfect food. I found someone else who shares the same that same secret hunger somewhere inside for that something that's soft and cool and goes down easily, and it's a perfect comfort food. That's what it is. So I hope you have someone you can find their bread pudding and help them out, and enjoy finding it and then enjoy giving it. And I'm not eating bread and sugar, so I think at first I thought maybe I'm going to have to get some for myself. And I thought, no, the reason I can't make any for her is that I don't have the ingredients. I'm not eating those things these days. So it's fun trying to find it for her, but I think it will be more fun to find it for her and realize I'm not going to eat it myself. So find someone in your life who needs some bread pudding, or find out what their bread pudding is. It might just be sending someone a card. It might be giving someone a call. It might be giving someone some chocolate, or just connecting with someone some way. And you'll feel good. You'll feel good doing it, and they'll feel even better receiving it. So I think our time is running out. So why don't we just sit, and you can keep sitting. We'll sit for a few minutes together, and then see if you can sit a little longer on your own, just being quiet and letting that still self speak to you. I see the birds that are out looking for. I tried to put food in some places that I thought wouldn't be covered in snow this morning, and those spots were. So I'll have to go out and find some other spots in a few minutes. So close your eyes if you can. Just let your body know that you're ready to be aware and attentive to the present moment. Just let the thoughts come through your mind. Don't try to stop the thoughts. We're not looking at a tight control of ourselves. We're gradually learning about our mind, about ourselves. We're really learning how to find a way to stop suffering. And we can do that. Suffering is that discontent that we all experience. And it ranges from some very mild sense of there's not enough, or I've had my bread pudding, but now I want more and more and more, all the way to terrible physical pain and suffering. So we begin by just being present in our bodies. Be present in your physical body. Let your thoughts come and go. We don't need to feed our thinking right now. Be aware of the body breathing. Just allow yourself to relax and yet be awake and attentive. We don't need to be alert as if we're watching for an emergency or a tiger to come upon us, but be attentive. Just be attentive to whatever is going on around you. Be aware to your sense doors picking up. We're picking up smell and taste and touch and sound. And our mind is thinking. We see the work of our mind. And that's where we want to just let things be aware of everything, but not getting distracted by any of it. Just let it be. Feel your body relaxing. Be aware of each breath. The body is breathing in and breathing out. May you all be well and feel safe. May you be content and finding joy in the small things in your life. May you be at peace. I'll see you again on Thursday. And reach out, find your bread pudding, and find bread pudding for someone you care about and love. Maybe let us know what your bread pudding is. Thank you so much for being part of my practice.